Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're doing great. I found an interesting video, and we clicked on interesting stuff like this. This is called Count Dracula Family Tree, how Vlad the Impaler is related to the British royals. First off, interesting side note. What? Vlad the Impaler is Count Dracula? Dracula? I don't know. It's a lot of interesting information that I don't know. That's why we clicked on the video, to learn. Sit back, relax, let's go.
Hi everyone. Since it's Halloween week, I thought I'd do a video with a bit of a connection to the horror genre. I'm going to be showing you the family tree of Count Dracula.
Okay.
Now, I've put Dracula in quotes because the figure that comes to mind when we think of Count Dracula was not actually a historical person. Rather, he's a character from the 1897 novel Dracula by author Bram Stoker. But it's generally thought that Bram Stoker based his character on this individual here,
Vlad the Impaler, which is a very common historical figure. Not common in volume, but common in notoriety.
Vlad the Impaler, from a Romanian noble family known as the House of Draculești. Vlad was a real historical person, and in fact, his brother is one of the ancestors of the British royal family today. So I'm going to be explaining that connection as well. Let's start with Radu I, who lived about 650 years ago and was voivode of Wallachia. First of all, voivode is a title that is used in Eastern European countries and is somewhat equivalent to a duke or count.
Count. That's interesting.
Second, Wallachia is a region in what is today Romania. If we look at the map,
That's where Transylvania comes from. Already learning.
See that it is close to Transylvania, a region associated with vampires, thanks again to Bram Stoker and his famous novel. It also bordered the Ottoman Empire, and therefore the individuals we're about to talk about often came into conflict with them. The house that Radu belonged to was called the House of Basarab, but after him, the house split into two branches. Two of his sons served as voivode after him, and the descendants of Dan I became known as the House of Danești, named after him. And the descendants of Mircea I became known as the House of Draculești.
And as always, fact check, please. And is it really called the House of Draculest? And is that like actually real? And is that the origin of said novel because of that?
Or in English, Dracula. From this point on, title of voivode of Wallachia would often go back and forth between these two branches of the family, but we're just going to look at the House of Draculești. Mircea had a son who became Vlad II. He grew up in the court of the Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund of Luxembourg. This particular Holy Roman Emperor created a noble order known.
Isn't that guy the same guy that we saw the other day? If you watch videos with me every day, that met with Henry V after the Battle of Agincourt.
This particular Holy Roman Emperor created a noble order known as the Order of the Dragon, with the purpose of fighting against the Ottoman Empire during the Crusades. Vlad II was made a member of this order, and therefore the word Dracul was attached to his name, Dracul meaning dragon. This is where the house name Draculești comes from.
Okay.
Several of Vlad II's sons became voivode after him, but the most famous was Vlad III, known as Vlad the Impaler. This is the individual that Bram Stoker based his character Count Dracula on, albeit very loosely. Vlad the Impaler may not have been a vampire, but he was known for being extremely cruel and fond of brutal, bloody punishments. He earned his nickname, the Impaler, because he would often have his enemies impaled.
Makes sense.
Now, it is sometimes said that the British royal family is descended from Vlad the Impaler. This is actually not true. They are, however, descended from his brother, Vlad the IV, known as Vlad the Monk. This means that the current queen, Queen Elizabeth, is
R.I.P.
distantly related to Vlad the Impaler, but not actually descended from him. So let's look at the connection. Vlad the Monk was the father of Radu the IV, also known as Radu the Great. He in turn was the father of Mircea V, also known as Mircea the Shepherd. All of these individuals served as voivodes of Wallachia at various times. Mircea had a daughter named Princess Stancha, and if we go down 8 generations past her, we come to a countess who was still living in Romania and who was a direct descendant of the House of Dracul.
Wow.
I'll put the full list of names of the generations, not shown here, in the video description. This countess from Romania married a German duke and had a child with him who became Francis, Duke of Teck. The Duke of Teck was the father of Mary of Teck, who married King George V of the United Kingdom, and who is the Queen's paternal grandmother. So there you have it. The Queen, and therefore Prince Charles, Prince William, and the rest of her descendants are all related to, quote unquote, Count Dracula.
That's crazy. There's probably so much more history like this that's just so interestingly just warped that in terms of our perspective that we don't see it. Or maybe we do see it if you're super into the genealogy stuff, but you don't see this as like common knowledge.
So what does this mean? Well, not much. If
Not
we were to
much.
look at the total number
I think it means, interestingly enough, like a little bit, it means that there's roots.
of ancestors of Queen Elizabeth living 500 years ago, taking into account all the cousin marriages that are common within royal families, that number would still be at least 1,000. So this individual here, a member of the Dracula family, is just one of 1,000 other ancestors. So although we could say that the queen has a little bit of Dracula blood in her, that bit is less than 0.1%.
As it usually goes whenever you string out generations.
If we look at it the other way, it is likely that Vlad Dracul has millions of descendants alive today, and Queen Elizabeth would only be one of those millions of people. Remember, being a descendant is not the same thing as being an heir.
True. Heir means like in a specific line versus like descendant, you have like some relation.
An heir is the most senior descendant, and out of Vlad's millions of descendants, the queen would likely be way down on the list in terms of the Draculesht line of succession. So
she can't claim the. Are you saying that she can't claim the Wallachian throne? Or, well, she could not, as she is now no longer with us.
although she is the queen of the United Kingdom and a bunch of other countries, she has absolutely no claim to the leadership of the House of Draculesht.
That's so cool. Ah, that's so cool. Yeah, this was an older video about useful charts. I thought it'd be fun to just look into because I promise you one thing: I've never looked into the history of Wallachia. We will get there. I promise you that we will get there. Our understanding, if there's a pie chart of all of human history, we're slowly just mining and chiseling away at the percentiles of understanding. And I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for leaving all the videos suggestions down below to help us get there. That's it for today. You have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.